Enterprise Stories is the weekly radio program that shares the experiences of successful Nigerian entrepreneurs and provides expert analysis of their success factors. Enterprise Stories, business stories of success.
Welcome to Enterprise Stories. In this week's episode, we will be sharing a story of a veterinary doctor that's been able to change the way business is done. But before we start, let's take a quick message from our sponsors.
When you are successful in your small business, as I am, people will always come to you. They want to know what you're doing differently, who your bankers are, and what kind of deals you are getting from them. Well, I'm happy to enjoy all the benefits of the SME0COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. My profit is up. But why? Because I get 0 COT, unlimited turnover, no limit on check lodgement or withdrawals, free internet and telephone banking, as well as discount on training courses for small business owners. With special benefits like that on the SME0COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. Now, there is no reason why your business won't boom just like mine.
Stanbic IBTC Bank, moving forward.
In the teaching segment today, we have Victor Afolabi, CEO of GDM Consulting, and he will be exposing us to the route to market strategies. Mr. Victor, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Wale. Good day, listeners. Today I'll be talking about the route to market strategy for both product and services, and this is very crucial and how a product or new service needs to be introduced into the market. It should be an integral part of the business plan of an entrepreneur, because if you do not understand precisely how you want to be in the market, then you are not likely to survive, and this increases the rates at which products or services fail or at which entrepreneurs fail. Looking at the topic in itself, road to market. Market, of course, everybody understands, is where you will have your product or service being exchanged for value. And market for different people could not, of course, doesn't necessarily have to be maybe an open market or a traditional place. It's where the value of whatever you're offering is perceived and value is offered for it. You need to determine who this market is, and for anybody producing or offering anything from services to products to goods, tangibles, you already know who your target market is, we believe, and you already have an idea of their characteristics. However, you need to have a clear-cut strategy and plan about how to get to them. And this varies from product to product or from service to service. If, for example, you have a product that the channel for which that product needs to be pushed is not properly researched, you find yourself introducing your product in a channel that is not compatible with the nature of your product. A case in point in which you see people having clear-cut route to market that's helped their product is, for example, the drinks industry, the carbonated drinks, where we've seen La Casera come up with a very strong route to market in terms of the street channels trading. They have been able to have very strong dominance in that aspect, and we've seen a lot of competitors, even bigger competitors, come to that same channel to try to struggle it out and try to have some level of relevance there. However, all most of them have been doing is catch up. For you to understand it clearly is to imagine how many times you walk into a restaurant or walk into an eatery and see people order, for example, La Casera with their meals. Most times it doesn't just occur in their minds. They do not see it sitting in that kind of channel. However, as somebody who came in as an entrant, who was a challenger, with a clear-cut strategy to say, I go to the streets, I want to lead in the streets. It came even from the packaging they were introducing, the nature of the product, and the dynamics of that channel they properly understood. It took a long while for others to move from bottles to the pet cases and all that, to understand the dynamics, the margins that differentiates this channel and all that before they could catch up. Of course, in terms of market share of that channel, La Casera was already dominating, and this is just a case in point to emphasize why we need to have a clear-cut strategy about how to come in. However, in coming in, what other factor is critical? There's something that is emerging in the world of sales and marketing in the last decade, and that is the concept of channel. The channel is like the main tunnel through which you're introducing your product or your service, and you must understand your channel dynamics properly, and there must be what is called a product and a channel compatibility. There's some products that will not do well in a particular channel. There's some products that are not suitable for a particular channel. As such, you need to understand clearly that the two of them match very well. Where we have good understanding of the channel we want our product to go in, and we understand clearly our route to market, the chances of our product or our services surviving in the marketplace, gaining dominance in the marketplace, and being successful and profitable in the long term is increased. However, this is not an afterthought after the product or service is launched. It should be an integral part of your business plan, like you will plan your marketing, sales strategy, and operational strategies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor Afolabi. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back with the story of the day segment.
When you are successful in your small business, as I am, people will always come to you. They want to know what you're doing differently, who your bankers are, and what kind of deals you are getting from them. Well, I'm happy to enjoy all the benefits of the SME Zero COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. My profit is up. But why? Because I get zero COT, unlimited turnover, no limit on check lodgement or withdrawals, free internet and telephone banking, as well as discount on training courses for small business owners. With special benefits like that on the SME Zero COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. Now, there is no reason why your business won't boom just like mine.
Stanbic IBTC Bank, moving forward.
We are back. We're now in the story of the day segment. And with us in the studio today is Dr. Bala Muhamed, the CEO of Vet World. So, Dr. Bala, how did you get into the veterinary business?
My story with vet medicine is actually something that I got from my parent. At the age of 7, realized that the family is largely, tilted towards a veterinary business. I had an uncle, he's late now, Dr. Muhammad, who studied in Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons in London, and on returning to Nigeria, happens to be the first practicing vet, a private practicing vet in Kaduna and in the whole of the north. We had around ourselves from school to the farm, doing poultry, and also attending. We also have some royal blood that run in us, and then for that it is inevitable that we have horses around, and then morning, afternoon, and evening, it's either we are feeding or we are attending to some ailment with our horses. And then so also with the cattle production, we had always have this. So that is where I actually got my baptism with veterinary medicine.
Veterinary medicine.
Yeah.
Okay. So how has it been running these two businesses, so to say? Especially, your business is located in Abuja.
Right.
And how do you ensure that you remain visible in the market space?
The profession of veterinary medicine is one that is a very large one, and I didn't also realize that until I went to veterinary school, and on graduation I realized a lot of opportunities that remains in, that you have in there. You have a lot of the graduate of veterinary medicine or the veterinary doctors seeking to work for government. In other words, by the time they get in there, it isn't the work exactly that they do. Mainstream civil service in the area of veterinary medicine is a sort of reducing the veterinary practice to paperwork and then moving file, thereby leaving the population of our animals sick, and by extension the human beings that associate with these animals, that also consume them, that uses them in areas of sports, that also enjoy them as companions, are also sick. Because once your pet is sick, you are likely going to also remain sick psychologically, and then even in terms of health.
Yeah.
So I now saw a lot of opportunity right there in Abuja some 17 years ago when I was serving, and that a lot of these expatriates will want one form of assistance or the other with their animals, and then they can get it because majority of the senior colleagues then are in government where they largely just deal in paper, which is not the core call for any veterinary surgeon. You should be out there in the bush with animals, or maybe in a clinic with small animals like the pet dogs, cat, and then the parrot. And unfortunately, it never existed there. And immediately, I mean, while I was serving, I was very busy going out from camp and maybe where I was having my primary assignment in the Federal Capital Territory, then going out to construction companies, the embassies, in offering these services directly to the animals that I am actually trained to handle. And the interest grew, as at that time so many universities in the north invited me to go back as a lecturer. Maybe I haven't been successful in some few courses as the best. They wanted my services back in the university. But if I look at what was obtained in the field, I actually wanted to be a physician. I wanted to be a diagnostician. I wanted to be somebody who is practically getting help across to the animals.
Yes, of
And
course.
I can never get it.
You had a few government appointments that you turned down as well.
Over 18 of them. Over 18 of them. And the only way I can actually get this satisfaction is by having a small practice that offers these services to the humans through these animals. And I started Vet World.
Okay.
Vet World is strictly a small animal clinic. When we say small animal clinic, we are talking of dogs, we are talking of cats, we're also talking about pets, birds, that is parrot, canaries, and co. And those are the kind of cases that I got in the first few years of establishing Vet World, which is about 11 years old now in Abuja.
So Blue Blood Vet Services, was it existence before the Vet World?
No, Vet World first.
Okay.
And then
11 years
as they
ago.
request, people actually got very keen and interested in the way I mean the passion that I bring to this aspect of human endeavor.
Okay.
And there were requests from the Fulanis in terms of the large animal. The polo clubs wanted me to offer these services, but you have different kind of structures in offering these services. And I saw the need in establishing Blue Blood Vet Services. Blue Blood, I mean, we all know that is something that has to do with royalty. And I actually wanted to demystify the aspect, the way we see vet in Nigeria, and then that is how I came up with the name Blue Blood Vet Services. And I wanted something that is really, of high class, but again, it's to animals. And I went to the rural area of Federal Capital Territory, Kuje, for those who know, to start the Blue Blood. And I came up with an idea of having a wonderful accommodation for the veterinary doctors there. And that is the only thing that makes us run to city center. Provided them with maybe a standby generator, a very good accommodation, and then a small clinic that will cater for cattle, sheep and goat, pigs, and largely poultry. And an extension of it is an ambulatory, that is having a clinic on wheel that follow all the elites in terms of polo services. And then that's how we came about Blue Blood Vet after Vet World.
Vet World, okay. Yeah, and of course you attended the Certificate in Entrepreneurial Management program in Abuja. And how in itself has that did that program help you to position yourself in Abuja?
I think that was the turning point in my life. I mean, even before I got the certificate of participation in the training, the first module in June last year, I knew I had gotten actually what I am looking for in life. And for those who knew my business before that time and will also want to maybe see me or see my practices now, you surely will know that something is happening in me and my businesses. The truth about it is that I am a trained veterinary surgeon. I have masters in production. I have fellowship. I'm also a fellow. I've undergone some fellowship training in United States in public health. I've attended so many courses around the world, locally here and also abroad. And I have never, there is an aspect of me and business that I actually wanted to explore.
Yeah.
That none of these courses have been able to actually lead me to this promised land. But the first module I attended with Sam, I was handheld, led. It may be a spirit, but I just knew. In fact, I had been registered for a course in Germany, which I have paid. It was supposed to be in neurosurgery in animals. I still went ahead for that course in October, November, and December. But the impact that Sam had, none of maybe my 48 certificates will actually, was able to actually reposition me. What I am saying here is that we must think outside the box. I am a trained veterinary surgeon. I have always been thinking of how I would deal with issues of teeth problem in the dog, in the horse, skin problem in animals, eye problems in animals, production issues with poultry, horses having lameness, they are not able to run to what I think they should, and then the owners. But more than that, I didn't know that I should not bother myself so much about these surgeries, this medicine, this public health, but also look at the aspect of keeping myself and then being successful in some of the things that I have chosen to do in life.
Yes.
And it was also an eye-opener when my professor in Serbia, during one of the neurosurgery class, shared with me that he's been divorced 3 times. And I was wondering, I asked him, he's a professor in University of California. I said, what are you doing at your age that you that women kick you around and you still want me to believe you are a successful person? Now, the aspect is that this is somebody that over 40 years, he's been busy in the theater and then he's just been teaching. He hasn't looked at other aspects that will make a man a successful person. And that is why a young lady will come in and will just kick him out. He takes another one, the same thing. And I'm sure if he's still supposed to go back in taking another woman without training like Sam, he will be kicked out.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we go, very quickly, for the young people out there, the young entrepreneurs and those that are also thinking of making a business out of their professional calling, what would you say?
Generally, like I told you earlier, I'm a trained veterinary surgeon, but after this training with Sam, I honestly no longer think like a veterinary surgeon. I think like a human being. I think like somebody who wants to be successful. And I now put a next person by me in a position that I want something. How much can I contribute from my area to making his life better in terms of safety, in terms of satisfaction, in terms of just being successful? We all have to think that way. If you're a medical doctor, think about value you can add to another person. And once you are able to define the process very well, and then you check that process, there is nothing that you as a medical doctor is doing now that somebody has not done before. But there is always this thirst, this desire to getting things done better.
Yes.
And then we should always fix our mind in offering those services. They are never challenges. These challenges are opportunities that when we carefully analyze, you make the money and then create that employment for people.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dr. Bala Muhamed, CEO of Blue Blood Vet Services and Director of Vet World. I'm sure that the listeners would have enjoyed your story today. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back shortly.
Thank you.
When you are successful in your small business, as I am, people will always come to you. They want to know what you're doing differently, who your bankers are, and what kind of deals you are getting from them. Well, I'm happy to enjoy all the benefits of the SME Zero COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. My profit is up. But why? Because I get zero COT, unlimited turnover, no limit on check lodgement or withdrawals, free internet and telephone banking, as well as discount on training courses for small business owners. With special benefits like that on the SME Zero COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. Now, there is no reason why your business won't boom just like mine.
Stanbic IBTC Bank, moving forward.
Bayo, you've heard the story of Vet World. What's your take?
Thank you very much, Wale. I've listened carefully to Dr. Bala Muhamed. I think first and foremost, he is operating a fairly unique business model. He has two separate companies, and the two companies have clearly distinct target markets. So I guess the first thing I would like to say is to discuss generally the concept of segmenting your market. As a small and as a growing business, you need to be able to clearly identify who constitutes your target market. Your target market are essentially people who are willing to pay the appropriate price for that product or that service that you offer to them. So Dr. Mohammed has been able to do that. He set up two different companies that are focused on two different segments of the same market. So it is possible for you within your core industry to identify two different market segments and attend to them. The critical thing is, as long as you have the capacity, as long as you have the skill to be able to deliver valuable products or services into those markets, then it is not a problem. In spite of that, it is important that you keep a focus. I think Dr. Mohammed decided early on that he wanted to continue in his family tradition of medicine, and he decided to focus on veterinary medicine. And in spite of the numerous job offers he got, he was able to remain focused and consistent and decided to follow his passion. Again, this word critical passion keeps coming up. Every single successful entrepreneur has mentioned how passionate they are about that which they do. So he's been able to, first of all, follow his passion and thereafter develop his skill level. To be a medical practitioner requires a high level of proficiency. So he invested the time, the money, and the resource into ensuring that he was able to get proficiency in the medical profession. Like I mentioned earlier, his business strategy was clearly defined. He had two different markets. He clearly understood what was required by those markets, and he provided value-added services into them. Now, one unique thing about Dr. Mohammed is, and we've seen this over time, a lot of successful professionals, highly skilled professionals, usually have difficulties in establishing and managing businesses. This is because they have the required technical skills, but they lack the business management skills to run successful businesses. And that is why his encounter with the Enterprise Development Center was able to build up the business management skills that he lacked. So like he mentioned, he was able to learn things about financial management. He was able to learn about operations management. He was able also to focus on how to manage or to understand how best to manage human resource. The strategy is also another critical requirement. For you to be able to run a successful business, you must have a clearly defined strategy. Again, marketing is critical. It's not good enough for you to have, or it is not enough for you to have a qualitative service or an excellent product. If you are unable to take that product or service into your target market, if your market is not aware of that product, then they cannot buy it it and your business cannot succeed. Overall, business planning is also critical. So I guess the greatest lesson in here is for those of us professionals, or for professionals who are seeking to establish businesses, it is critical that you develop business management skills to complement the professional skills that you have, so that if you are a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, please get the appropriate business management skills so that you can run a viable business and you can ultimately meet whatever objectives you have set for yourself in terms of growth, in terms of profitability, in terms of overall viability. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Bayo, for your analysis of VetWorld. Listeners, you've heard it. Your professional skills are as important as your business management skills. The combination helps you to have a successful business. Thank you very much for listening to Enterprise Stories. Until next week, when we bring another interesting story your way, stay blessed. Join the International Finance Corporation, an enterprise development center of the Pan-African University, in celebrating 10 years of SME Toolkit in Nigeria. We will be celebrating with partners from over 40 countries on the 10th of April 2013. For registration and more information, please visit nigeria.smetoolkit.org. For questions and comments, please email edc@pau.edu.ng or log on to Enterprise Stories on nigeria.smetoolkit.org for useful resources and articles to help grow your business.